If you're watching this video, chances are you're either one of those people who asked me, how can you attract deep love and loyalty in a partner or in a person who's never been freaking loyal? How can you attract marriage and a good, passionate relationship when the society keeps telling you that doesn't freaking exist? How can you manifest a freaking love partner? So either you asked me that or you want to know that. Either way, I'm here to tell you exactly what you need to do in order to manifest your dream ideal partner. And the short answer is, it's all in the way that you see the world. It's all in the way that you understand the law of assumption. It's all in the way that you understand what free will means. It's all in the way that you understand how reality works. And for those of you, my Muslim friends, my Muslim subscribers, or people who are watching this content wondering, well, girl, is this halal? Are you talking about things that are haram? Are we crossing the boundaries set by God when we're doing this? And I'll tell you something, I have wondered the exact same thing. I at a point used to think that, oh my God, like this is all haram. Like, no, we're just supposed to ask God. How can we be so arrogant? And how can we have this ego that we're thinking, but that we're thinking, oh my God, my wish is fulfilled before it's even made manifest. But the truth is that the way that I was taught religion was fundamentally so heavily focused on the external bit. We were never taught what it truly means to have faith. We were taught very well what it means to fear God, and not fear God as in, oh, I love God so much, so I am afraid of doing something to upset him. No, fear God in the sense that if you don't do XYZ, you're going to hell. Everything was about heaven, hell, but we were so caught up in the legalities of religion that we missed out on the essence and the heart of it. And if you want to understand, what it means to manifest, because I want to cover this before we even go into any of this, because all of this is an explanation, but that is the foundation. If you can understand that, then this feels easy. And understand the fact that what we're doing when we say we're manifesting, we're not saying we're creating anything. We are in no way saying that, oh, you are making something in your life appear out of nowhere. We're actually simply, in fact, we're not even being self-conscious. We're not even believing in ourselves. We're simply being God-conscious. We're simply, in the way of our conviction, in the way of our faith, we're showing that, God, I trust you this much. Think about the Battle of Badr. When the Muslim army was it was very evident. The 3D was showing what? The Muslims are freaking outnumbered. Allah said what? Victory is yours. What did they have to do? What were they doing when the 3D showed them a very different reality? But their heart and their mind was set on what? What God said is happening for them. That's manifestation. That's law of assumption. Like, it's not haram. Think about Prophet Musa. When he had no idea Allah was going to part the sea for him. But what he did know was that Allah has my back. And the sea parted. Ibrahim alayhi salam, ready to jump in the fire. Why? Because he said, Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. Allah is sufficient for me. Alas, 3D is showing you what? There is a fire. There are people against you. Every circumstance is stacked up against you. But what are you believing in? You're saying, no, the 3D, I don't care for that. I care about the reality of my Lord. I care about what Allah, I'm going to believe in God. I'm going to believe that He can make anything happen for me. Because the 3D, this world is a world of means, right? And the only haram thing is when you rely on means rather than God. When you're saying this person will do this for me, this my parent or my job or this money or this external thing will do something for me. And your reliance is not on God, because if your reliance is on God, then the 3D doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because I don't know about you, but God has in the Quran told us so many endless stories. Sleepers of the cave, their story. So many stories where Allah literally bent the laws of reality for people because they had what? Conviction. You guys think manifestation is about some woo-woo magical crap? No, it's not. It's literally about conviction. It's literally how much faith can you have that when your 3D is showing you the opposite of what you have asked God of, what do? Do you rely on your senses? Do you go by your perceptions? Do you buy into what your eyes are telling you, what your tongue is telling you, what your hands are telling you, what the 3D is telling you? Or do you go like, no, hold up. I know what Allah is capable of. I know what God is capable of. You are not being convicted in yourself. You're being convicted in God. There's a very real difference here. It's not haram to have hope in God. In fact, what is kufr is hopelessness. When you're sitting on the prayer mat and you're saying, oh God, I would like this to happen. Okay, why is it not here yet? Why is it not here yet? Oh, none of my prayers ever get answered. Where's your faith? Where's your conviction? Because if Allah said in the Quran, I've given you everything you've ever asked for. Asked, past tense, not present tense, past tense. What does that mean? The moment you asked for something, it was delivered to you, given to you. But you continue to act differently. And these laws, law of assumption, law of X, law of whatever, law of duality, law of attraction, blah, blah, blah. It's like gravity. If I were to throw this pen, it's going to fall. That's gravity. That's a law. These laws are the creation of God. So what we're doing when I need to pick this marker up, but what we're doing when we're using these laws and we're understanding these laws is that we're using it to our advantage. Because we never really learned the spiritual essence of Islam. Because if you do that, you actually realize that all of this is right there in different words. So we're told to give gratitude. The more you do, the more you give gratitude. I could go on and on about this. And in fact, I've made a video about the correlations and I'm going to link it somewhere, I don't know. But I'm going to link it for you guys because I need you to understand that all of this is simply about your faith and about your conviction. Your faith, your conviction, your faith, your conviction, whatever. God says, I am as my servant thinks of me. What are you thinking about God? What are you thinking? What are you believing? Why are you believing society over God? Why are you believing it when people are living in their limitation, when they are literally affirming their limitations day in and day out? Why are you playing a part in believing it too? Did you forget who your Lord is? Did you forget who God is? Because if you live with that God consciousness, you will never doubt, never buy into a limitation. The reason that I talk about this stuff and the reason I love to talk about it is because my missing link was, well, how do I rewire the programming of 25 years of my life? How do I do that? Because that's a very real experience I had where I was surrounded with people who were in lack, in scarcity, thinking from lack, thinking from scarcity, who were hopers, but not people with faith, who hoped but were never certain, who wished upon a star but never truly believed that what they wanted could come to them with ease. God has created the world to be easy for us, but we suffer because of our own selves. Any experience, any pain, any problem that comes your way, it is not to victimize you. It is to help you grow. It is to help you expand because, heck, nothing expands, nothing grows without pressure. Overused example, but think about diamonds. Think about the butterfly. You have to go through that expansion. All prophets went through it. There is pain, but pain is not a bad thing. Pain, the deeper your pain is, the more your capacity for light is. Darkness is unresolved light. So I need you guys to understand this. It is not haram to be convicted in Allah. What is haram is you're hoping and you're not truly believing. Hopelessness, man. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's talk about manifesting love, okay? And I need you to literally allow this information to be embodied for yourself, okay? I need you, if you're taking notes, maybe just for right now, for the next few minutes, I'm gonna tell you some stuff and I need you to experience how and where that information lands in your body. Do not listen to ask questions. Do not listen to understand intellectually. Listen to embody. Listen for that information, that energy to become a part of you so that by the end of this video, you walk up as a changed person. Your frequency is shifted, your reality is shifted because it gets to be that easy. When we get to the how part, you guys can take notes and then you can go and practice this. Because these practices, when I say these practices, these rituals that I personally do every day too, but what is the purpose of them? Their purpose is that you need to make your mind your servant. Our mind becomes our leader because of our conditioning and our experiences. And then we keep being led into a reality we don't want to live because we don't take control of the mind. So these practices are just permission slips. They're just ways to rewire the past conditioning. And you don't have to do it for the rest of your life, by the way. You have to do it until a specific amount of time, until, it's natural for you, just like any skill. You go to the gym, you maybe hire a trainer for, let's say, a year, and then you know enough that you can do it without a trainer. I tell my clients, don't stay with me as your coach forever. Learn everything you need to learn and then go apply, go be there in the world, because you need to know that it's a practice. 4 years ago, I couldn't have imagined being who I am today. But every single day since, I've practiced being this person and better every day, committed in different ways. And I kept growing in different directions. So the idea is that once you can embody this information, you utilize it in different areas of your life. Okay, all right, so let's talk about this. Let's understand the basics of reality. I'm hopefully out of the frame because I want the focus to be on the charters. So let's talk about there's the 5D, there's the 4D, and there's the 3D. Now, the 4D, which is your mental plane, the 5D is the spiritual plane, the 3D is the materialized world, right? It's the world of means, it's the world where everything, forms are changing, so on and so forth. And your 4D is your bridge between the 3D and the 5D. So that is how you magnetize stuff into your life. Oh no. So the 5D, this is where everything is possible. This is where there are infinite potentials. This is where this love that you're manifesting is right here in the 5D. It exists. Everything, every type of partner, from the greatest partner in the world to the person who will treat you like absolute dirt, all exist over here. Because get this, your fate is not something you create, but something you choose by what you accept to be true about your reality, what you consent to be true. So Allah, God, has given us free will. Free will means you have the will to choose whatever idea you marry yourself to, because once you're married to an idea, what happens? It has to manifest. Once you're married to it, means it is your truth now. It is all you know of. It is all you recognize, all you live and breathe. It comes in your 3D. And most people are married to very crappy ideas. They're married to societal conditioning that says, oh, men are supposed to be angry. Men are supposed to treat you like dirt. Men are like this. Women are like that. Women are supposed to be like this. Marriages are like this. And when you listen to all of this, it marinates, it develops in your self-concept. That is what you're bridging from your 4D to your 3D. That's what you keep drawing in by how you're thinking, how you're feeling. Whatever you're thinking, you're feeling, that is your self-concept, to keep it simple. is what you draw back in your materialized world. Now, everything in reality has a frequency. You have a frequency, that loyal, loving partner has a frequency. Let's say that this partner has the frequency called 62. This is just an example. You over here thinking loyalty is rare. There's doubt. There's lack. Your frequency is what? It's 20. You will never be able to attract or perceive off this partner because of what? Your own frequency, because you're emitting a frequency that says, I don't believe that happens. I don't believe I deserve it. I don't believe it happens for anybody. It's rare. If it's rare, how will that ever be normal for you? If it's rare, then holy heck, only 1 in a million people find people like that. What are you believing, man? What are you believing? So as a result, in your movie of 3D, which has your assumptions, your concept of self, your concept of the world, that is only what you see in your reality. All these other experiences, all these other possibilities, the other partner that could have been great for you, blah, 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 that simply exists as a potential. It remains unmaterialized. It remains unmaterialized. It's not that it wasn't written for you. It was out there. You could have chosen that. But what does God say? I'm going to paraphrase here. Everything I've shared with you is paraphrased. But Allah has told us that He does not change the condition, 3D, of a people until they change what? What's inside them. What is inside you, friend? Your self-concept. What you believe to be true. What you think is the norm. What you believe is possible. That's what's inside you. That's what you draw in. Simple. It is that simple. So you're out here saying, oh, it's so hard, and oh, love is rare, and oh, intensity in relationships is rare. That's what you're going to experience. Your beliefs, your self-concept, your assumptions, they are your prophecy. Like it or not, they are your prophecy. And each person, get this, each person gets to experience reality in a way that is as unique to them as their freaking fingerprint. What does that mean? That means that if person A, I believe, let's say, loyalty is so rare, you can never find a loyal partner these days, blah, blah, blah. Person B, my friend, she believes, oh my God, every single guy I've ever met is the most loyal guy ever. Men are so loving, men are so kind, blah, blah, blah. Her reality and my reality are going to be like heaven and hell. They're going to be two worlds apart. Why? Because what she truly believes to be true is what her consciousness will make her perceive in the 3D. The purpose of the law of assumption is to call back the restored vision, because these all other experiences, they do exist, but your own limitations, your own assumptions of limitation will keep it hidden from your perception. So we do the law of assumption to restore the full view, because creation is finished. Allah has already created everything that ever had to be created. So you're not creating nothing. You're simply using the God-given free will you have, your birthright of free will, to choose which reality, which type of partner, which type of experiences you want to have. Because if all was just destiny, if all was just one destiny, every person just had one destiny. Okay, you're born, this is your destiny, khalas, you die. Where does free will come in? Free will to what? Wake up when you want? Damn, that was predestined too? There would be no free will. But there are multiple, infinite number of destinies for every person. That's why you get to choose. That's why you get to use the law of assumption. So now over here, you understand, well, I am my own prophecy. Now, if society says love is rare, marriage is hard, loyalty isn't real, what happens? They are a magnet for that reality. But just because they are a magnet for that doesn't mean that gets to be yours. Remember I said every person's experience of reality should be as unique as their fingerprint? Well, they believe it because it is true for them. But you don't have to believe it. Your law of assumption, your self-concept works for you. And it could work so differently for you, and they will still say the same. They will, you know what they'll say? They'll say, even if you find that partner who is deeply loving and intensely loving and passionate, loyal, whatever, they're going to call you the exception. But are you the exception, or do you just know how to use this? They will always call people who do the inner work, who make their life look different than the norm, the exception. They're not exceptional people. They're just people with conviction. You don't have to believe what everyone tells you. Nobody told you to believe the society when in everything they say. Curiosity is heavily encouraged even in the religion. So you have to ask yourself, hold up, can I come up with an example? Do I know examples of people who are in deeply loving, passionate, intense relationships, loyal relationships? Are there people like that? And if you can't come up with examples in the real world, go back to the stories of prophets. If you're a Muslim, what were their relationships like? What were they evidence of for us? Why were we told about them? Because that is evidence of possibility for us. I know so many people who have deeply loving, intense, passionate relationships. It's a matter of what lens you choose to see the world through. And never, ever internalizing someone else's belief system. You are an adult now. When you were a child, you had no choice but to accept whatever was given to you because your conscious mind wasn't yet active, but you're an adult now. You need to run background checks on each belief you're internalizing. You need to be like, does this belong in my world? Do I want to see evidence of this in my world? Is this what I want my prophecy to be? What do I want to prophesize in my life? Which destiny do I want to walk on? Which path of destiny? Is it the one where that's so rare that 1 in a million people get it? Or is it the one that where every person I meet is deeply loving and loyal? And then we come to the question of, someone asked this, she said, how do we manifest loyalty in a partner who doesn't seem to be loyal to anyone? And I want to share a story with you, and this is from, Neville Goddard's book, Power of Awareness. This is a chapter of assumption, and I'm going to read this story to you. And this story is the answer to what you just asked. So he says, it's page 27. One day, a costume designer described to me her difficulties in working with a prominent theatrical producer. She was convinced he was unjustly criticized and rejected her best work. He often was deliberately rude and unfair to her. When Neville heard her story, he said, I explained that if she found the other rude and unfair, it was sure a sign that she herself was wanting, and that it was not the producer, but herself that was in need of a new attitude. I told her that the power of this law of assumption and its practical application could be discovered only through experience, and that only by assuming that the situation was already what she wanted it to be, could she prove that she could bring about the change that she desired. Her employer was just being a witness, telling her by his behavior what her concept of him was. I suggested that it was quite probable that she was carrying on conversations with him in her mind, which were filled with criticism and so on. There was no doubt but that she was mentally arguing with the producer, for others only echo that which we whisper to them in secret. Let that land. He said there was no doubt but that she was mentally arguing with the producers, for others only echo that which we whisper to them in secret. I asked her if it was not true that she said that she talked to him mentally, and if so, what those conversations were like. She confessed that every morning on her way to work, she told him just what she thought of him in a way that she would have never dared address him in person. The intensity and force of her mental arguments with him automatically established his behavior towards her. So she began to realize that All of us carry on mental conversations, but unfortunately, on most occasions, these conversations are argumentative. We have only to observe the passerby on the street to prove this assertion. Anyways, long story short, so she goes like, she realized what she was doing. She agreed to change her attitude and to live this law faithfully by assuming that her job was highly satisfactory and her relationship with the producer was a very happy one. To do this, she agreed that before going to sleep at night, on her way to work, and at other intervals during the day, she would imagine that he had congratulated her on her fine designs, that she in turn had thanked him for his praise and kindness. To her great delight, she soon discovered for herself that her own attitude was the cause of all that befell her. The behavior of her employer miraculously reversed itself, his attitude echoing as it had always done that which she had assumed, now reflected her changed concept of him. What she did was, by the power of imagination, her persistent assumption influenced his behavior and determined his attitude toward her. Now, this woman, her boss, was basically a jerk. But in her, not just in the 3D, even in her mind, she would see him be a jerk to her. She would say mean things to him in her imagination all the time. Think about that person that you think is not loyal to you or anybody. The fact that you said that he's not loyal to anybody shows exactly what your concept of this person is. So if that's the concept you're projecting, that's what they're going to be fulfilling for you, period. So if you want that partner or that person or whatever to show you XYZ traits, what do? You go in your mind. You don't do anything in the 3D. You don't go up to them and be like, hey, you a-hole, fix your freaking attitude. Go learn some loyalty. Did you not go to school? What, you need relationship coaching now? No. Go in your own mind. Go in your own mind and see it differently. See it differently. See it differently. You have to lose your mind in the process. You have to freaking lose your mind in this process. But only by losing your current freaking mind, your current concept of your reality, your current self-concept, will you be able to experience a different reality. Losing your mind does not have to be a bad thing. It can be the greatest thing that you ever do. I lose my mind every morning. The minute I wake up, the first thing I do is I lose my mind. Right before bed, the last thing I do, I lose my mind, because my mind is the servant. I need to tell my mind what to believe, what to look out for, what to focus on, because the mind is an excellent servant, but a terrible leader. It will lead you straight to lack, straight to survival, because it will always be trying to protect you, which is why what? You take charge. You lose the mind. You install a new one. You program how you're seeing it, how you're feeling about it, what you think is true, what you believe is true, what you consent to. Are you consenting to this person being this way in your reality? Because to me, it sure as crap sounds like you are. Because why else would they be that way in your reality? Why else? And here's the thing. Another person said something about, I want to marry somebody and they're in another country and it's a different caste and my families are not allowing blah, blah. Look, I will tell you two things right now. I'm going to give you, and I usually don't do this, I don't give people advice. And in fact, you know what? I'm not going to give advice. I'm just going to tell you a story and I'm going to tell you what you can do. You can still use the law of assumption for this, by the way. There is a boy, another story from the same book about, there was this boy, he came with his grandmother. It was a little boy, I think 7, maybe 9 or something. And her grandmother took him while she had questions to ask Neville Goddard about the law of assumption. So she's talking to him, Neville, and the boy's just sitting there playing with his fire truck. And Neville tells the grandmother that this is how you use the law of assumption. This is how this is what you loop. This is what you experience, blah. And like, you know, when they're leaving, the boy just goes, looks at Neville and he says, I've always wanted to get a dog and now I know how to get it. And the grandmother was like, no. And he's like, I just have to feel it to be true in my mind and I'm going to have it. And the grandmother's like, no, that's not what Mr. Goddard was talking about. You're not going to get a dog. His parents did not want him to get a dog. His dad actually hated dogs. And they were like, you're too young to take care of a dog. It's just not like all 3D bets were against him, right? Anyway, kid goes home and kid, like every night, right? He goes to bed and right before he falls asleep, he sees himself walking this dog. He feels the dog sleeping with him. He feels it and he sees it and he believes it. He is in his wish fulfilled, in his wish fulfilled, in his wish fulfilled. And then I think a couple of weeks later, some big nationwide writing competition happened. And the question for the essay was, what would you do if you owned a dog? Or why should you own a dog? Something like that. The boy, just like every other kid in town, writes his essay and he ends up actually winning first prize. And he wins a dog. And that dog, the breed of dog that he won, was the exact breed of dog that he always wanted. And his grandmother came to Neville Goddard and she said, man, had it been any different, if the circumstances were any different, if someone had given him the money for a dog, parents wouldn't have gotten it. If someone had gifted a dog, parents would have given it away. But because of the grandness of the circumstances, they were like, you know what, keep the dog. It was so dramatic. Point is that if that's what you truly believe is what you want, then you reject the 3D. You reject what the senses are showing. You go like, okay, no, I know what the truth is. I know what I believe in. In your mind, you need to see yourself already married to that person. Literally, in your mind, you need to believe that you're already living together. If it's already happened, you would not care for anything anyone says in your 3D. You will not even be forcing anymore. You'll simply let go. You're you have to lose yourself in the imagination and you have to feel it to be true. Feel it to be true. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, and if you don't, I actually just 2 days ago, I ran this big ass masterclass and it was an incredible masterclass. It was called the Zero BS Manifestation Method. And in that, I walk you through the exact step-by-step process. That's the last workshop on manifestation you will ever need. And it's not just a workshop, by the way. It comes with a 21-day practice that I personally do in my life. I've done in my life and it has gotten me incredible results. So you get a nighttime meditation, which is the sleeping in your wish fulfilled Neville Goddard method. And then there is this waking up in your wish fulfilled, and it is a high frequency energy activation meditation for the first thing you do when you wake up. And there's instructions for it. And then there's another process for your 21 days. You combine these three, it is absolute pure magic. And your entire reality, not just the things you want to manifest, the partner, the love, not just one thing, every single thing can transform if you do this every single day in as fast as literally a day or two. Literally, that's how fast. So if you want to get that, if you want to get on that, you go to the link below over here in my description somewhere, get it, do it. And I promise you, this will be the last thing on manifestation you will ever need. It has everything. Like it is, like it gave me chills when I delivered it. It was a 3-hour thing. And even after that, I was like, holy crap, I could go on for another 3 hours. Like I could keep going. It was that freaking energizing. And the thing is that when you're in that high energy, everything changes for you. Okay. So the second thing, the story that I wanted to tell you, my personal belief is that when I notice, there are times when I am like, God, this is what I want, period. And I don't say how I want it. I don't try to control it. And when I don't try to control it, I know, I trust that I will either get what I want or better than that. Get what I want or better than that. Get what I want or better than that. When we put timelines on it, when we try to control how it happens, that's when we create resistance. Because if it was already yours, you would not put a timeline on it. Neither would you try to control it because it's already yours. You're living in a natural state of knowing, of relief, of peace. It's natural for you. There is no stress. There is no worry. You're just like, no, it's happened. I know it's happened, period. So get in that knowing, right? And if it, just know that it will work, or you're going to get better than that. You're going to get the best thing for yourself. Just let go of the how. Let go of time, let go of attachment, and let go and let God, period, right? Now, we talked about free will, the will to choose what you consent to. To say I want is to affirm lack, right? When you're saying I want this, Anna, I want XYZ, you're affirming that you don't have it. You're affirming your lack. To say I want is to say I don't have. So anytime there is something you desire, know that it's already done. It is already done. I talked about the wish fulfilled process and acting as if method, how Neville Goddard's entire story and the process explained in one of my other videos. I'm going to put the link in the description somewhere. Go watch that. Okay? Like, you need to like get on this, like embody this information so well, right? Now, all you need to do if you're manifesting a partner, get to know that partner in your 4D. Get to know who is it. Make a list. What is it that you want? Loyalty, cool, passion, love, blah, blah, blah. Put specifics in there. They say this to me. They say that to me. This is how they treat me. And then live in the end. Oh my God, I already have this partner. What does it feel like? And by the way, in the Zero BS method, the activation that I did was exactly about this. It was about activating the frequency of the wish fulfilled. And you'll lose yourself in that frequency. People were like, man, I am crying. When it ended, they were in awe. They were like, that was magical. That was magical. And shifts happen like this because I've experienced that in my own life, right? So now this is the part where you can start taking notes, what to do. So you have to create a mental movie, also what I teach in that workshop, of knowing your wish fulfilled as your only reality. Create a mental movie, a 15 to 30-second movie that represents your wish fulfilled, right? Write it down, go in a meditation and play it on loop. Play it on loop. Play it on loop. See the fulfillment as your natural everyday state. This is most important. You have to walk as if it's true. Walk as if it's true. Then that means you got to take inventory of your thoughts, inventory of your beliefs, inventory of what am I are you reacting to the 3D? Because every time you react to the lack in the 3D, you're affirming the lack. So you have to stay over here, stay in your own frequency, in your knowing. You have to ignore the 3D illusion. It is changing form all the freaking time. You have to go to sleep in the feeling of wish fulfilled. Think about this. If it's done, how could there be doubt? Right before you go to sleep, see it, feel it, know that it's true, know that it's your reality, period. It gets to be that simple. And then ditch the how, ditch the timeline. Just walk as if. You have the partner, literally have conversations in your day. Literally, like I'm so serious right now. If you're manifesting a partner, this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna literally have conversations with them while you're walking around your house in your head. It just start being like, oh babe, like that's how my day went. What are you up to? Blah, blah. Like literally do that right before you're going to sleep. Imagine they're next to you and you're telling them about your day. Imagine when you wake up, they kiss your forehead or whatever. Imagine that they're around you. Imagine they're in your freaking bedroom. Because imagination is the bridge to the 5D. That's how we strengthen our conviction because it's already there. You're just strengthening your conviction. You're changing your signal. You're changing the frequency you're emitting because when you're looking around, you're saying, they're not here. They're not here. There's no love. There's no this. What are you affirming, buddy? Lack. And then you're like, well, I knew it doesn't work because I don't see it. Honey, where's your conviction? Live in your conviction. Lose your mind in your conviction. Walk as if it's true. Walk with faith. Walk with conviction. Walk with knowing. Walk with certainty. That's it, friends. It gets to be that easy. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys, and I am so grateful to be of service. I'm so grateful I get to do this work. I'm so grateful I get to share this with you, something I'm so passionate about, something that has completely shifted my reality and It's just a gift to get to share it. So I'll see you in the next video. If you have any questions, you want me to record something about a specific topic, obviously, let me know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. You know the vibe. I love you. I'll see you around.